The Giants play the Washington football team tonight, and I know you know a lot about the Giants and what they're trying to get done. How much pressure is on this young quarterback, Daniel Jones, and Saquon Barkley to get things going for the Giants?
Well, I think there is pressure because it's obvious that if you're going to run an effective offense, you have to have balance, and it can't be one-sided. And, you know, Barkley is part of that balance. He's got to get going, and he's got to cross that mental barrier that you have to cross after you've had a very serious injury, which he had. Now, he got his feet wet last week. You would expect to see maybe a little bit more this week. I think the Giants offensively, one of the issues, I really like Kenny Golladay. I think they're okay at the wide receiver position, but their inside receivers, you know, they drafted this Tony, number one. He's supposed to be their slot. The tight end isn't playing. They've got to get something that's a little easier for Daniel Jones on the inside. And unless they get that, it's going to be problematic because you have to have a few things where the ball can get out quickly, and those inside receivers are usually part of the keys to that.
Coach, how important is year 3 for Daniel Jones?
Well, you know, every year is important for a quarterback, but I just don't, you know, I think if you go back and you look at the history of these guys, you see a talented quarterback, and I'm just going to go back a little. You take a guy like David Carr, number 1 pick in the whole draft, gets to the wrong environment. Same thing, Tim Couch gets to the wrong environment. And more recently, right there in New York, a kid named Sam Darnold, who I happen to think's got pretty good ability myself. Wrong environment. So you have to have a situation that allows your quarterback to succeed before you can really be judgmental on him. I mean, if it's just one-sided and you rely totally on the passing game, I think it's very difficult.
So, Coach, with that being said, it feels like when I watch the Giants, their offense is very predictable. Like, what would your evaluation be on Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator?
Jason has a lot of experience. Listen, it's predictable because, as I told you, the inside receivers have not been productive. And, you know, he hasn't had his running back. And it's, you know, sometimes circumstances, the situation won't let you succeed. I've seen that a lot in football. The situation will not let you succeed. And until they get a little more balance in their running game and a little bit better execution in the underneath routes, then that's going to open it up for the wide receiver. It's going to be problematic. But, you know, there's only one game in the season. There's a lot of games to go. You can get better as you go, and I think there's a good chance that a lot of teams will.
More games than ever. Extra game this season. Pro Football Hall of Famer Bill Parcells joins us on the Goodyear Hotline, brought to you by Goodyear, making the plays that move you forward. Goodyear, more driven. Coach, Zach Wilson and Mac Jones are on opposite sides this weekend. What is your evaluation so far of those two rookie QBs?
I think they look good, both of them. I've been impressed. They both get around pretty good. I was particularly impressed with Wilson in the second half last week. They seem to have pretty good accuracy. They seem to be pretty good decision makers. You know, you never know until you start getting beat up a little bit and you get punched in the nose and you got to get back in that huddle on Wednesday and you threw 3 or 4 interceptions and everybody's booing you. You never find out what you really are until that situation comes. But I like what I see so far.
Coach, you've never been one to outside of Drew Bledsoe to really play young quarterbacks. But what's the challenge of having a young quarterback in playing him?
Well, as I said before, wrong environment is the challenge. If you put a guy in the wrong place, it's not so much him being ready, is does the environment give him a chance to succeed? And I think that's what they're facing in Chicago. You know, everybody wants to see the new shiny thing, but if you put a player in and not only maybe he's not quite ready, but the environment that he's going in is also not too good, then sometimes that leads to destruction. And, Max, I know you're a boxing guy. It's the same thing. You put the fighter in with the wrong guy too soon, something happens, and it's not usually good.
Tell him, Coach. Tell him. Bad offensive line in Chicago, and the Bears have never had quarterback right. You want to give him the ball and have him keep it for 15 years, not mess around.
Yeah, no, that's right. I think I think that's a tough situation, and I think you could just see by their play selection last week that they weren't confident in their offensive line. Throwing the ball short, quick, that kind of thing, and until that gets better, I think that environment for Justin Fields is just kind of phase him in slowly and let him get his experience. I think I could give you one illustration of a guy that got phased in perfectly. When Russell Wilson went to Seattle, they had a great defense and a great running back in Marshawn Lynch, and he really didn't have to do much. He just had to not mess it up until he grew into the job, which he did very well. And I think that was a case where the environment was perfect for a young quarterback to come in and develop.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.